Hello there guys, Mark here. I hope you are well. Today we're going to make a simple braided paracord bracelet. Here you can see the bracelet that we're going to be making. It is braided with a couple of decorative knots and a loop and a stopper knot to close everything off. So a simple design, not hard to do, and it looks quite nice. As far as supplies go, you're going to need a single piece of paracord for the cord. So the loop, the cord, and the stopper knot. This cord should be 2.5 to 3 feet long. Next, we're going to be using 2 cords to plait or braid over the cord. These 2 cords can be of the same color, or you can use 2 different colors. Each cord should be at least 3 feet long. I recommend that you pull the inner strands out of your cords. And finally, as far as the cord goes, I'm going to be using 2 pieces of type 1 paracord for the 2 decorative knots. Each cord should be 2 feet long. For the tools, I'm going to be using a lacing needle to tie the decorative knots. It is optional but recommended. And finally, using scissors and a lighter, we're going to be able to cut and melt our cords. Let's begin. To start tying, I'm going to take the cord used for the cord. It is 2.5 feet long at least. Fold it in half and secure it by either taping down this top part, perhaps placing it around a door handle, something like that. Basically, you just want some tension onto your cord. We're going to continue by picking up the 2 strands used to plait over the cord. These 2 are gutted and 3 feet long each. I'm going to take one, fold it in half, and place it over my cord, like this. I'm going to fold the other cord as well, and place it over the cord again, crossing the 2 cords used for the plaiting, like this. Now pick up the top right strand, pass behind, in between the 2 strands on the left, and back to the bottom on the right. Then the top left strand passes behind, in between the 2 strands on the right, and back to the bottom on the left. And the top right strand passes behind, in between the 2 strands on the left, and back to the bottom on the right. And the top left strand passes behind, in between the 2 strands on the right, and back to the bottom on the left. Now adjust the size of your top loop here by pushing your braiding up a bit. Pull on all of the ends to firmly secure everything into place. Then simply continue. Top right strand passes behind, in between the 2 strands on the left, and back to the bottom on the right. The top left strand passes behind, in between the two strands on the right, and back to the bottom on the left. And the top right strand again passes behind, in between the two strands on the left, and back to the bottom on the right. And top left strand passes behind, in between the two strands on the right, and back to the bottom on the left. Again, tighten up by pulling on all of the ends. Then simply continue. We're going to keep plaiting until we get a sufficient length for our wrist. After plaiting a sufficient length for your bracelet, you need to secure the end of the braid. Here, you can place a whipping, you can tie off the ends using a couple of reef knots, or you can do any other way that you like. In my case, I'm going to take an inner strand of paracord and tie a loop onto one end. In my case, the bowline knot. After you have a loop on one end, place the other long end through the loop, creating a sliding loop. Place the loop over the top, right next to the end of the braid. Like this. Continue by placing several hitches over the ends to really lock this spot into place. So to do this, what you do is you create a loop with the working end passing under the standing end. Then you place the loop over all of the ends and tighten up as firmly as you can. And repeat. So a loop with the working end passing under the standing end. And you place the loop over all of the ends. Tighten up and repeat. A loop, place it over. A loop, place it over. Like this. Finally, we need to secure the end. There are a ton of ways of doing this. All I do is I tie an overhand knot. So a loop, and I feed the end through it. Then I tighten up the knot as close to this wrap as possible. Like this. Trim the ends. trim the 4 ends used for the plating. We're still going to need the 2 cord strands. Like this. We are going to continue by covering the start and the end of the braid using a decorative knot. To do this, we are going to be using 2 cords of type 1 paracord, each 2 feet long. To make things a bit easier to see, I'm going to demonstrate the knot on a mandrel using larger cord, just to make things easier to see. We're going to start by wrapping around. So in our case, we would be wrapping around our bracelet, passing over the standing end, coming around, and passing alongside the standing end under one. We then pass the opposite to this cord, so under and over. Come around, coming to the standing end. The standing end is now doubled up, so we're going to travel in between these 2 cords and split them by doing the opposite. So we pass over, under, like this. Then we travel the opposite to this cord, over, under, over. Like this. On the left, we pass over our standing end and we travel alongside the standing end on its left side, traveling under, over one, and under 2. On the right, we turn back, traveling over 1, under 2, and over 2 on the left. Then we begin with an under 1, over 2, and under 2. And finally, over 2, under 2, and over 2. To finish up the knot, we place our working end under 2 alongside the standing end. To make the knot easier to finish up later on, we are going to feed our working end under the remaining cords to the right. This way, later on, we can trim our ends here and here at the sides. After placing the decorative knots, we are going to roll our bracelet to get a more consistent look. So we roll the decorative knots, and you can also roll the bracelet itself, so the braid. Like this. To finish up, we're going to tie a stopper knot with the 2 cord strands. So in our case, the lanyard knot. Take the left strand, make a loop. Take the right strand, pass it towards the top, and under the loop. Pass over this top left strand, under the left end, then over, under, over. So over, under, over, creating a carrick bend. So you can see this by the diamond shape here at the center. We're going to continue with the top right strand, pass it past this top left strand, coming out of the bracelet, so past it, and through the center of the carrick band. So through the diamond shape at the center. Take the bottom left strand, pass past this top right strand coming out of the bracelet, so past it, and through the center of the carrick band, so through the diamond shape. Tighten up by pulling on the ends, like this, then remove the slack out of the lanyard knot. Once you're happy with the look of your lanyard knot, trim the ends and you are done. And that's our bracelet. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that the result is a nice looking bracelet on your end as well. Thank you very much for joining me today. Consider supporting the site on Patreon, and I'll see you next time.